Hey everyone, James Azar here with CyberHub Engage. Thank you for sticking around for our virtual summit. We've got a great session coming up with the one, the only, the master spoke at RSA. So many great places, just dynamic as it gets. Karen Warstall is going to be talking to you guys a little bit on behalf of Odyx on what our friends over at Odyx are working on right now. So without further ado, you've been listening to me all day. Let me take a break. I'm going to go get some coffee, but you don't. Stick in your seats. Watch this. You won't want to miss it. Karen,
Hey,
stage.
good morning.
The stage is all yours. I am gone with the
James, it is so great. Thanks for having us on. I really appreciate this so much. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about ransomware. And I know that, we've talked about malware for decades, but what we're talking about here is a total game changer in terms of ransomware prevention. And this is not about detection, it's about prevention. And I'm talking about seriously, it works that way. Why am I doing this with Odex? I want to just share with you a really quick blurb about that because I was involved in technology evaluation and bleeding edge technology deployment for our clients when I was at Stanford Research Institute. I was so fortunate to work with the labs at SRI, and I was on the consulting side. So one of the things as we would learn, like this is something that's actually going to be a game changer for our clients, we were getting it out to them as early adopters, maybe bleeding edge adopters. And when there was some new technology that was going to make it so much better, I was honored and thrilled to be able to get that out to our clients. Well, the reason I'm excited about this is because I have to say that ransomware prevention by Odyx is probably the most exciting thing I've seen since network intrusion detection came out in the 90s. And it is a game changer. And that's why I want to talk to you about it. And there couldn't be a better time to do it than right now because things are changing. So let's talk about that. We are in this it's not even a new normal that we're talking about. We're talking about work from home and all of the cyber threats that come along with having to make a massive change in infrastructure that happened immediately, right? So our work from home cyber threats are what we're talking about. They're top of mind for us right now. What do I mean by that? So our normal operations since February are in like major flux. Some companies I know of have basically said we've got 35,000 people that need to go home now with a stay-at-home order. Laptops were ordered, 35,000 people went home. That is just not the way people in our profession like to do things to make sure that we have all the necessary checks and balances and controls in place. So basically, we know that the work from home IT strategy is probably not protected end to end. We know that we're going to have some new problems and we're going to have opportunities. The cyber criminals are going to have new opportunities for spear phishing and introducing malware into networks through file-based attacks that are going to come in through channels that are now open because we don't have everything locked down. And let's face it, when we send laptops home and we've got not only our employees home, but we've got all of their family is home, there's going to be some challenges with blending personal network, work network, personal computing, work computing. It's just going to happen, and things are going to, we're going to get malware. It's going to be coming in. We have spear phishing. That's like we know. Let's talk about the next thing, like specifically around COVID-19. Some kinds of threats are coming in, basically saying that increased targeted attacks are playing on these problems and fears, like appeals for medical equipment. We're getting information on COVID-19 at such a pace that our minds actually don't have the opportunity to sit down and really think through things like this looks kind of different. This looks kind of out of place. Everything looks out of place right now, right? So the files and these attacks, these spear phishing attacks and so forth, are going to become greater vectors for malicious malware. And because they are attacking the very infrastructure that we need to have in place in order to care for the public, in both the public and the private sector, it does seem that paying the ransom is going to become a more attractive option than it has been in the past. We've kind of had a position where we said, don't pay the ransom. Well, we can't really say that right now, given the potential impact of not being able to recover in a very rapid fashion. Okay, so let's talk about what Odyx is talking about from a protective position. Odyx is different because it's a proactive preventative response as opposed to a detection response. And this is how it works. We're going to talk about the true CDR is what they call it. CDR means content disarm and reconstruction. It's kind of a new term. Gartner came up with it, I think, in the last year or so. So what does it mean? Well, CDR basically is a detectionless process, and it removes all types of malicious code hidden within files, no matter how far nested that information might be in the file. And it eliminates not only the known attacks, but it's really great at eliminating zero-day. So that's the thing that we should really be concerned about, right? Is that these zero-day attacks, we don't have the time to deal with them. We don't want to have them get a foothold in our networks. There's a very sophisticated algorithm, which I'll explain a little bit more about the process here in a minute. But what Odex does, what CDR does that's very different is instead of detecting and obliterating a file, what Odex will do is detect foreign code within thousands and thousands of MIME types. And it will identify the code that is different, that doesn't belong there. It's like, what are these things are not, one of these things are not like the other, right? It finds that foreign code within a file, and it will literally go in and excise it and take it out. So it's deactivated. It cannot affect you. It cannot, even if it's a fragmented attack, it cannot come in and be successful. And they implement this in a way with their technology that has pretty much zero integration. So it's a half a day implementation over the web to get some of these products installed. Very, very simple, very, very fast. That's one of the things, those are the highlights basically of what this does. And I'm going to have a slide in just a little bit that's going to show you exactly what the flow looks like. But right now I want to show you the impact that having this new game-changing kind of capability, which is CDR, how that is different than antivirus and sandboxing. So when these old malwares, these variants of malwares, or whether we have the new malware attacks coming in, antivirus and sandbox, they didn't do so well with all of those 0 days that kind of showed up, and some of them are still around and plaguing us. What's cool about it is Odex True CDR actually provided a preventative method that worked against the 0 days. So those clients that had Odex True CDR implemented did not get impacted by WannaCry and Emotet and those other kinds of attacks that really wreaked havoc all through last year. I want to talk a little bit next about Odyx and the competitive landscape, because there are other CDR technologies out there. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about Odyx is because, and I asked them these questions when we were first talking, is how did you build this? How did you put this together? What was the platform you built this on? How did you harden it? And this slide here, why Odyx basically gives us this competitive landscape, is this is how Odyx True CDR is different from all the other CDRs that are out there. So they have built they understand that it's important to build this on a hardened platform, so the platform itself cannot be compromised and attacked and make the preventative solution ineffective. So that's one of the things that I really like about what they've done. Okay, I'm going on to, so this CDR, content disarm and reconstruction technology, I told you before, the term was coined by Gartner. And according to Gartner, you can use this either as a supplement or a replacement in your network for sandboxing. It just depends on your use case. So this is something that various consultants and service providers help our clients. We can help you understand whether this needs to be a supplement or a replacement, and also help you with those policies that would need to be put in place. So let's look really quickly at the next slide, where the Odex file sanitization process. I told you I was going to show you a picture about how this really works. So from a variety of different vectors coming into the system, whether it's mail or whether it's an FTP, whether you've got a portal and you've got public needing to upload files into your network, whether it's on removable media, any kind of incoming media type or file transfer type, it comes into your system. When it encounters Odex, Odex first does policy enforcement. That's completely configurable for what you want in your company. So if you have a policy that says it's very, very strict, if you have a suspicious collection of files and even one of them is found to be contaminated, you block them all. That is a policy decision, and Odex supports that kind of policy decision. If that doesn't work for your company, and you say, I need to let these files in that were accompanying the suspicious file, but I need to make sure that they're clean, then that is something that the policy enforcement mechanism can do for you. And I have a little cat here who's trying to chime in and help you understand the importance of Odyx. So the next piece on the from that policy stage, the files that move in through the rest of the Odyx process will go through 5 different antivirus scans by different technologies that are meant to cover the entire surface to evaluate whether there is antivirus that can be detected. And then it goes into type validation. So you have MIME type validation for the file that proceeds through the Odyx system. And then that's when, if the system detects that there is a file, any kind of code within the file that is not from that MIME type, it will go in and take it out. And that's where the disarm really comes from. And what's the big beauty of this? If any of you have worked in a company where you've actually had the policy that says you cannot use removable media, you can't use USB, this kind of setup has the potential for allowing USB to be something that companies can actually use again, because the files are cleaned, the media can be completely sanitized, and the files are intact and usable. Pardon me, I just need a sip of water. Okay, so let's skip through to the next set of slides. Odex does have a set of products. They have network-based products, they have cloud-based products, they have some hardware-based products, which is a physical kiosk. And all of those have different places depending on your use case. So it has a very flexible ability to fit a use case depending on what you need. The ecosystem for Odex, I want to show you this slide because what was important to me was, how do I know this really works? Well, Odex had a number of early adopters, and one of the things they wanted was that very question answered. And so they ended up employing the labs, security labs at places like Raytheon and BugSec and Ernst & Young and PwC and ABB, who all tested Odex and wrote reports for their clients, which were presumably satisfactory, because then those companies became customers of Odex. So it's I'll take a look at the cross-industry customers that they have today, and it's got a very substantial installed base in a variety of customers. Okay, so I'm gonna I've breezed through this very quickly for you. I know we're gonna have some more discussion about it later, but one of the things I just wanna let you know is about Odex. It is a privately owned cybersecurity company. It has a leadership team with impeccable credentials that truly understand what we're dealing with in high-risk, high-security environments. This technology is patented. I love that it was awarded a $2 million grant from the EU. for their small medium enterprise information security program. Their offices, their headquarters are in Israel, and offices here in the USA and in Luxembourg. So it's truly a worldwide company. And what I will close with here is Odyx. It is honestly a game changer technology from the standpoint of being truly unique, built on a hardened platform, solid, tested, proven with enterprises who are using it in the field. It is truly a preventative model for zero-day attacks, and it gives you all kinds of, we didn't get into all of the different monitoring and management capability that it has with it, but it does interface to a number of other platforms that you can use to help give you visibility, analytics, and monitoring. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really honored to be able to be here and to have this chance to talk to you about it. On the final slide of the deck, here is our contact information. You can contact me directly. Also, we should probably, James, at some point add in information for how they can get in touch with Gilad here in the U.S., who is the VP of Sales here in the United States. So that is my entire presentation, speed presentation.
Bravo to Karen. Hey guys, Karen, as we record this, Karen is dashing through this. We're going to be back with more with Karen, I promise. But I want to say thank you to Karen. Information was on the screen. You guys have all seen it. You'll also be able to get it in your email after this, also with Gilad's information. Karen, thank you so much from beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places on planet Earth, the great state of Colorado. There you go.
So great.
It is. Karen, thank you so much. Thank you to ODI for their support for this, folks. We'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. More virtual summit content coming right after this break.